Rally racing has produced moments that sound completely made up. Cars finishing races that shouldn't still be moving. Drivers surviving accidents that shouldn't be survivable. Spectators standing in places that make absolutely no sense. And victories decided by events nobody could have predicted. If someone told you these stories without evidence, you probably wouldn't believe them. Fortunately, the cameras were rolling. These are the rally moments that would sound completely impossible if nobody had filmed them. The car that refused to die. Rally Japan, 2023. On the opening stage of his home event, Takamoto Katsuta hit a patch of standing water, lost control, and hit a tree. The impact damaged the car badly enough that Katsuta lost more than 5 minutes before eventually making it back into contention. He dropped from a promising position all the way down to 24th overall. By every visual indication, this rally was over. Katsuta apparently hadn't received the message. Team mechanics rebuilt the car at midday service, and he returned to the stages that same afternoon and won every single one of them, all 3 mountain tests in a row. He kept winning stages through Saturday too, setting the best time in all 5 stages that day, then continued the charge on Sunday, climbing all the way back to within 20 seconds of 4th place by the finish. This is the tone of everything that follows. When the road disappeared. Some of rallying's most impossible moments have nothing to do with weather at all. At the 1967 1000 Lakes Rally in Finland, Timo Mäkinen was tearing through the notorious Uunenpohja stage when the leather straps holding his Mini Cooper S's bonnet down gave way. The bonnet flipped up and jammed directly against the windscreen, blocking his view of the road entirely. Imagine driving at racing speed toward a corner you cannot see because the front of your own car is now blocking the windshield. Mäkinen tried sticking his head out of the side window, but his crash helmet was too large to fit through the gap. His solution was to throw the car sideways, over and over, just to catch glimpses of the road through the side windows instead. "We did about 12 of the 25 kilometers like that," he said afterward. "I was 3rd fastest, even though I could hardly see where I was going." He drove the better part of that stage functionally blind, at competition speed, guided by instinct and the sliver of road he could catch through a side window, and still finished 3rd fastest on it, going on to win the entire rally for the 3rd year in a row. The spectators who wouldn't move. Group B, the mid-1980s. The most powerful rally cars ever built, over 500 horsepower in machines weighing barely a ton, driven flat out on public roads lined with enormous crowds. On many stages, crowd control was primitive by modern standards, with spectators gathering dangerously close to the racing line, and sometimes stepping onto it before moving away at the last possible moment. Irish driver Bertie Fisher found himself sliding, completely out of control, directly toward a wall of spectators and parked cars in his Opel Manta 400. Somehow, he threaded the car through the gap between them without hitting anyone, a save so precise it looks choreographed on film. Except nobody choreographs a car sideways at racing speed with a crowd standing exactly where the car is heading. The drivers weren't only racing against the clock, sometimes they were racing against the crowd itself. The jump that went too far. Rally cars are designed to leave the ground occasionally. They are not necessarily designed to stay there this long. At Rally Sweden's legendary Collins Crest, named in tribute to the late Colin McRae, a compression jump has become an annual spectacle of its own, with a dedicated award for whoever clears it furthest each year. Distances here regularly exceed 40 meters of pure flight, with the current arena record standing at 45 meters, set in 2016. One of the longest jumps ever attributed to a WRC car came from Sebastian Loeb during a stage in Turkey, a staggering 85 meters according to contemporary reports. "It was an incredible feeling," Loeb said afterward, "because we stayed in the AIR for several seconds. We never thought during reconnaissance that we would jump so far. Length that sounds more like an aviation statistic than a motorsport one, and more than 15 years later, nothing close to it has been reported since. The crash they somehow walked away from. Rally de Portugal, 2018. Chris Meek's Citroën C3 WRC went off the road on a fifth-gear left-hander and cannoned directly into the trees lining the corner. The impact was violent enough to destroy the car almost entirely, crumpling the front end back toward the cockpit. The incredible part wasn't the crash. Rally had seen crashes before. It was what happened when the wreckage finally stopped moving. Both Meek and co-driver Paul Nagel climbed out largely unharmed. The design of the car. "Thanks very much," Citroën's team principal said afterward. "It saved Chris and Paul." Modern rally cars surround the crew with an extensively reinforced safety cell, roll cage, racing seats, and head restraint systems designed to manage the enormous forces generated in impacts like this. Safety engineering built specifically for exactly this kind of impact, and specifically why two people walked away from a car that no longer looked like a car at all. The fix that shouldn't have worked. In Formula One, a car in this condition gets pushed into the garage and the weekend ends there. In rally, sometimes the crew has to solve a problem themselves, right there on the side of the road, with whatever happens to be within reach. At the 2024 Safari Rally, Thierry Neuville and co-driver Martin Wideg pulled over on a road section between stages, with dust pouring relentlessly into the cockpit, choking visibility and grinding into everything it touched. Their solution: fashioning an improvised device out of a tree branch and a cloth to physically clear dust from inside the car, then finishing the remaining stage wearing goggles to fight off whatever crept back in regardless. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't remotely what the car's designers had in mind. It worked well enough to get them to the finish, 6th overall, without hybrid power for the rest of the day. You can actually do that? Apparently, yes. And rally crews have been doing exactly this kind of improvisation for as long as the sport has existed. The finish nobody saw coming. Rally Saudi Arabia, November 2025. Adrien Fourmeau had fought through a brutal, chaotic Friday to end the day leading the rally outright, half a second clear of the field. Then his lead vanished. Not on a stage, not to a crash, and not to a mechanical failure. He'd checked his car into a technical control zone 1 minute early. A 60-second time penalty followed automatically, and Fourmeau dropped from 1st to 4th in an instant, without so much as touching a curb. A rally lead lost entirely to a clock, not a corner. For an entire day of racing across the desert, one driver had done almost everything right. Then rally racing reminded everyone, sometimes it isn't the stage that decides the result. It's the checkpoint. The moment that shouldn't have been possible. Rally Mexico, 2015. Tänak was navigating a fast section alongside a lake when he lost control of his Ford Fiesta. The car left the road entirely and kept going, straight into the water. Tänak and co-driver Rigo Mulder scrambled out and swam to safety as their car sank completely beneath the surface in front of them. And this is where the story stops sounding real. M-Sport retrieved the car from the lake using trained divers. Then their mechanics worked through the night. They drained it, stripped it, rebuilt it, engine, electronics, and all. And the next morning, the car that had been sitting at the bottom of a lake less than 24 hours earlier was back in the rally. Tänak and Mulder got back in it, and they finished the rally. At the finish ramp, still in one piece, they climbed out wearing a pair of diving goggles, the crew's own joke about exactly what their car had just survived. Thousands of rallies have been held across more than a century of motorsport. But there are some moments that could only happen in rally racing. Only in rally. Formula One has faster cars. MotoGP has riders leaning centimeters from the ground. But rally has something different. No circuit, no perfect surface, No controlled environment. Just a driver, a co-driver, and whatever the road decides to throw at them. That's why rally racing keeps producing stories that sound impossible. Because sometimes, reality doesn't look realistic at all. And fortunately for us, someone remembered to press record. What's the most unbelievable rally moment you've ever seen? Let me know in the comments below.